What's up guys, Brandycar here, back with another video. It's that time of year again. The NASCAR season is over, which means it's time to look back at all the paint schemes run this season and determine which ones were the best and which ones were the worst. Welcome to the top 5 best and worst paint schemes of 2025 and 2024. Yeah, the 2024 video is over a year in the making. I kept promising you guys that I would get it out soon, and now I'm finally getting around to it. Better late than never, as they say, but still, sorry for making you guys wait so long for the 2024 video. I promise this won't happen again. Before I start this video proper, I just want to say that 98% of the people that watch are not subscribed, which, now that I'm saying it out loud, is kind of embarrassing to admit. But, anyway, point is, what are you doing watching videos and not subscribing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. Well, it takes less than a second. With all that out of the way, we can get started with the video proper, starting with the top 5 worst paint schemes of 2024. Number 5. At number 5 on this list is the Trackhouse Racing Jockey paint scheme, specifically the one that showcases the race car driver in his underwear. Look, I get that man in his underwear is really funny, and I can definitely see the humor in it, but my problem isn't the fact that there's a man in his underwear on the car, it's the fact that the paint scheme just doesn't look good. I don't like it. If the paint scheme actually looked good, I would not have as much of a problem with it, with this paint scheme, as I do currently. That's really all I have to say. Number 4. At number 4 on this list is the 2311 Racing Moneyline paint scheme. This paint scheme is bad for one reason, and one reason only. It's one singular color, with no paint scheme design whatsoever. A big downgrade from the paint schemes they ran the year previous. All they did here was make it one singular base color, slap the primary sponsor on there, sprinkle in some associate sponsors here and there, and then called it a day. That seems to be a trend with paint schemes these days. Hopefully it doesn't become the new norm. Number 3. At number 3 on this list is the Stewart-Haas Racing Rush Truck Centers paint scheme. It's amazing how they went from this to this to this in the span of half a decade. The paint scheme got worse as the years went on. This is hands down the worst paint scheme ever run by Stewart-Haas Racing. The color on this one is baffling to me. A gray color gradient when the Rush Truck Centers colors are black, yellow, and red. This is honestly worse than Lumar insisting on running a blue number on all of their paint schemes. The colors just don't match. No idea what they were thinking here. I'm really glad that Front Row Motorsports decided to go back to basics with their 2025 scheme. Major upgrade over the 2024 one. Number 2. At number 2 on this list is Martin Truex Jr.'s Racers paint scheme. I was never a fan of this paint scheme, and it surprises me that I've never put it on this list until now. When they changed from the Gen 6 to the next gen, they changed the Racers paint scheme from this to this. And to this day, I still don't know why. What was wrong with the previous paint scheme? I had to double check to make sure this wasn't a backup car, because it really does look like they just slapped this paint scheme on a backup car. That's how bad it looks. Hands down, the worst paint scheme Martin Truex Jr. has ever run in his career. Before we get to number 1, here are some dishonorable mentions. These paint schemes were bad, but not really egregious enough to where I had to put them on the list, so they get a passing mention. Finally, we've reached number 1. The number 1 worst paint scheme of 2024 is a 4-way tie between Denny Hamlin's Brakes Plus paint scheme and 3 of his Mavis Tire paint schemes. First time this has ever happened on one of these videos, a 4-way tie for the worst paint scheme of the year. I'll go through these one by one. The Brakes Plus car is pretty self-explanatory. Plain red with a little bit of white on the C-post. Bad paint scheme design, really lazy. The one he ran and won with at Dover is just teal going down the middle with white on the sides. Arguably the least bad of the bunch. The one he ran at North Wilkesboro is certainly something. No idea what they were thinking here. And the one he ran at Pocono is just an abomination. The worst Mavis paint scheme he ran this season. I don't know what Mavis Tire's deal was this season, but their paint scheme just seemed to get worse every time they ran it. If this was all in an effort to rage bait the fans, then bravo. You successfully rage baited us. Please never come back though. I'm glad you're gone. I think I know why I put this video off for so long now. I didn't want to look at all these bad paint schemes again. But the worst is over now. At least until I have to do the same stunt again for 2025. But for now, let's look at the top 5 best paint schemes of 2024. Number 5. At number 5 on this list is Christopher Bell's Mobile 1 paint scheme. If there's one thing we can always rely on, it's Mobile 1 to make a great paint scheme, and this one is no different. I love how they always incorporate the red Pegasus onto their paint schemes. Ever since they started doing that, it seems like their paint scheme quality has just gone up, and I can't wait to see what they'll have in store for us in 2026. Number 4. At number 4 on this list, we have the Joe Gibbs Racing Interstate Batteries paint scheme. As big a fan that I was of the zebra stripe paint scheme, I do really love the Green Lightning paint scheme. I feel it's an upgrade over the zebra stripes. Easily the best paint scheme change they've ever made. The more I look at it, the more I fall in love with it. Number 3. At number 3 on this list is Alex Bowman's Music City paint scheme that he ran at Nashville. You can never go wrong with an Alex Bowman Music City paint scheme. I love the vibrant colors on this one. They go really well with the purple and make the paint scheme pop. It's a real shame that they didn't do one this year. Hopefully this doesn't mean the end of the Ally Music City paint schemes. Let's hold on to hope that they do one next year, because I would really hate it if they stopped doing them. Number 2. At number 2 on this list is Shane Van Gisbergen's Wendy's paint scheme. A lot of people like to point at the Saucy Nugs car as the superior Wendy's paint scheme, but in my opinion, I like the regular one better. The blue flames on this one is honestly what stood out to me. You can never go wrong with a flame design on a race car. And the image of the fries on there is, it's making me hungry, man. I better move on before I get off track. Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. There were a lot of great paint schemes run this year, and it was really difficult to narrow it down to just a top 5. So just keep in mind, I still think these paint schemes are really great. They just weren't good enough to make my personal top 5. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the number 1 best paint scheme of 2024, it's the Sunny D paint scheme. You probably already guessed. I couldn't decide which one I liked better, Barry's or Stenhouse's, so I just put both of them on there. Number 1 is a tie between Josh Berry and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s Sunny D paint schemes. What can I say? I'm a sucker for that orange, yellow, and blue. It's just very vibrant. It really pops, and there's nothing that I can really say here that I haven't said in previous videos. So, yeah. So long as Sunny D keeps making this great paint scheme and keeping that same formula, it's always going to top this list. Until someone else can make a better paint scheme than Sunny D, they'll always be the #1 best paint scheme of the year. Finally, I'm done with the 2024 video. I promise I will never, ever make you guys wait a full calendar year for a paint scheme video ever again. With that finally out of the way, we can shift gears to the current year and look at the top 5 best and worst paint schemes of 2025. Here we go again. Number 5. The number 5 slot this year just essentially goes to any plain black or white car with no paint scheme design on it. There's not really much I have to say about these. Just getting them out of the way so we can get through these bad paint schemes quickly. Number 4. At number 4 on this list is Chase Elliott's Unifirst paint scheme, a massive downgrade from the one he ran last year. What was wrong with it to where they had to make such a drastic change to it? I just don't understand. The teal, the lime green, and the gray just looks really ugly. I'll admit, at least it's got more going on with it than the 2311 Moneyline schemes, but it just doesn't look good. Number 3. At number 3 on this list is Ryan Preece's Cisco/Crumble paint scheme that he ran at Las Vegas in the fall. This one's just really ugly. I do not like the color combination. White and pink with the blue number, it just doesn't look good. One of RFK's few misses this season. Hopefully next season they won't make a paint scheme as bad as this one. Number 2. At number 2 on this list is Eric Jones's Tri-State Breast Cancer Awareness paint scheme that he ran at the Charlotte Roval. This one just leaves me scratching my head. It's mostly gray with a pink rear bumper and a pink stripe on the side. No words. I have no words. Before we get to number 1, here are some dishonorable mentions. Finally, we've reached number 1. The number 1 worst paint scheme of 2025 is Tyler Reddick's Jordan brand paint scheme that he ran in the Clash. I could have easily lumped this one in with the other plain white paint schemes in the number 5 slot, but this one is just so egregiously bad, I had to separate it from the rest. Just look at it. It's hideous. Not just the paint scheme, but the sponsor logo too. Why is there a center bar on the Jordan brand logo? Is this like some quirky marketing campaign they're doing? This paint scheme only ran once, so I assume it was. But if you're going to do a quirky marketing campaign, at least make a good paint scheme to go along with it. When you put out something like this, it makes me not want to buy your product. This paint scheme should not be upsetting me as much as it is, but God, it just boils my blood how bad it really is. There, finally. The worst is over. Now I can cleanse my palette and look at some actually good paint schemes. Number 5. At number 5 on this list is the Trackhouse Racing Red Bull paint scheme. It is so surreal to me that in the big 2025, Red Bull is back as a NASCAR sponsor, and they came back with a banger paint scheme. It's super simple, but it gets the job done. The ones that they're running in 2026 are honestly a downgrade in my opinion, but they still look pretty good. What I do like is that Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen are running different colors on their paint schemes, but I still believe the 2025 version is superior. Number 4. At number 4 on this list is Ross Chastain's Busch Light paint scheme, a major upgrade from last year's. And all they did was change the base color from white to blue. One simple color change really does make that big of a difference. Busch Light always knocks it out of the park with their paint schemes, and this one is no different. Very rightfully deserving of its spot on this list. Number 3. At number 3 on this list is William Byron's Exalta paint scheme. Way, way better than the one he drove last year. It reminds me so much of Jeff Gordon's old DuPont paint scheme from 2001 to 2008. Similar enough to where it reminds you of it, but also distinct enough to where it feels like his own, if that makes any sense. Now, this specific version of the paint scheme only ran in the Daytona 500. In all races after that, he ran it with just a plain red flame pattern. And I hate how they neutered this paint scheme by removing the yellow highlights on the flames. It makes it look so bland. But on the bright side, at least that makes the Daytona 500 version of the paint scheme more special. If there's any takeaway I can make, it's that. Number 2. At number 2 on this list is Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s Sunny D paint scheme. Yes, you heard me correct. The Sunny D paint scheme is the number 2 best paint scheme of 2025. After 3 years of it topping the list, the Sunny D paint scheme has finally been toppled. There is one paint scheme run this year that I believe was better than the Sunny D paint scheme. I've already talked about how good this paint scheme is to death, so I'm not going to waste your time talking about it any longer. Let's move on. Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. There were a lot of great paint schemes run this year, but only 5 could make the list, and only 1 can be considered the best of 2025. And we're getting into it now. The number 1 best paint scheme of 2025 is Michael McDowell's Tide car that he ran in the season finale at Phoenix. This was a Hail Mary throw by Spire Motorsports, and by golly, they scored a touchdown with it. This paint scheme is absolutely beautiful. You can always count on Tide to make a great paint scheme, and if you ask me, Tide is the sponsor that always gives Sunny D a run for its money in terms of paint schemes. Tide paint schemes have always come up short in recent years, but this year they finally toppled the Sunny D paint scheme from the top of the list. Those were my picks for the top 5 best and worst paint schemes of 2024 and 2025. Do you agree with my rankings? Why or why not? What are your picks for the best and worst paint schemes? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more of me, be sure to follow all my socials, like my Twitter, my Instagram, and join my Discord server. Links to all those are in the description down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for more NASCAR content. Like I said at the beginning of the video, 98% of the people that watch are not subscribed. Again, I ask, what are you doing watching videos and not subscribing? If you like my content, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you all so much for watching. That's it for me. Peace.